All right. Hey, gear lovers, I'm Ted Drozdowski at Premier Guitar, and we are here in Anaheim, California at the 2018 Winter NAMM Show, and we're visiting the Bartel amplification zone, and we have with us Mark Bartel, who builds these lovely amps that are behind us right now, and Mark is going to tell us about his brand new line. You guys are debuting. This is your first NAMM here?
That's right, Ted. This is the first year at NAMM. This is a company that's just about a year old. You may remember me from the Tone King brand. I had formerly been the owner and not owner, but originator of the Tone King brand, and was with it for 25 years. And now I've started my own new brand. Whoa!
People were impressed with that. You got a roar of applause.
Okay, well, wait till they see what I have to say next. Yeah, I mean, the new brand is devoted to master-built guitar amps that incorporate all the things I've learned over the last 25, 30 years of designing guitar amps.
Well, great. You want to take us on a tour through these? You've got 3 models right now, which I guess are your flagships.
That's right.
And why don't we start through the one that we heard a little bit earlier?
Absolutely. Well, the top-of-the-line model is the first one I designed. It's called the Roseland. It's a 45-watt amp with 2 6L6s fixed bias. It's a purist design, single channel, volume, treble bass, preamp, which has some unique features that I'll talk about later. Reverb and tremolo, and a really good master that I'll mention later as well.
Cool, well maybe we'll get to hear that a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, are there any commonalities between the 3 amps you'd like to talk about before we really fine-tune and focus on the Roseland here?
Yes, there are. The whole idea behind this product line is that it's consistent, and they have the same range of voicings, but just with different power levels and slightly different flavor based on the cabinet size and the transformers used, and output tubes used.
Well, why don't you tell us about the wattage on the Starwood and the Sugarland and the differences, and then let's focus on that amp and let you really tell us about your preamp, the master, and other componentry in these.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I started off with the Roseland, a 45-watt amp with 2 6L6s fixed bias. We moved on to the Starwood, same preamp, which, you know, as I said, we'll discuss, has some very unique features.
Okay.
Just reverb, master, 28 watts, 6L6s cathode biased.
Okay.
Then you move on to the Sugarland, which is 2 V6s cathode biased, about 12 watts. It's volume, treble bass, and a really good master.
And do they all have similar transformers?
No, and that's where they all get their own unique flavor. The Sugarland's transformers give it more of a Tweed Deluxe kind of vibe, and the Starwood, 28-watt Starwood, cathode biased, transformers give it more of maybe a pro reverb kind of thing, and the Roseland has more like a JTM 45 type transformer, so you get a little more edge to it.
Okay, cool. Well, shall we dive into the Roseland, and you can show us what the preamp and what the master is all about on that one.
Sure.
And of course, anything else you'd like to talk about, because this is a new product and we'd like to learn as much as we can.
Absolutely. Well, if you'd like to, I can walk you through some of the unique construction features.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, great. Now, like I said, this brand is devoted to master-built amplifiers that kind of push past what I've done with boutique amps in the past. I've been making boutique guitar amps for 25 years or so, but I wanted to take it further in terms of artistry and craftsmanship and make them built with the craftsmanship that you see in a fine instrument, like inside and out. And I'll show you an example of that right here. If you look in the chassis, now it's not only hand wired, but it's hand wired in a different manner than most are. I make my own turret boards. I cut them, route them, drill them, polish the edges and everything. I make these little pieces here to keep the wire routing nice and neat.
Yep.
I even make my own custom knobs. There are the molds.
Oh, cool.
I silk screen my own face plates. And so it's entirely master-built product that I do all myself.
So you are the sole builder at present?
Absolutely. I do all the electronic assembly. I do all the wiring, boards. I make my own turret boards. I do all my cabinetry. I do all the upholstery work, and fabricate a lot of the custom components that make it, a special master-built product, like these knobs and wire trees
And what kind of tubes do you use? What brand? Where do you source them from?
I'm pretty much going straight TAD all the way through. You know, we've had really good luck with TAD. I really like the tubes that they're doing. They're consistent and sound great. Don't rattle.
Great.
Yeah.
Should we focus on the Roseland?
Oh, wait.
Oh, sure.
Before we get to that, I just wanted to mention something about the cabinet, because this is another standout feature that makes this a very unique product. Most cabinets are built with an outer shell and a plywood baffle. The baffle board is screwed to the cleats to mount it to the cabinet. This is an entirely different construction, where you see the baffle board is an integral part of the cabinet. It's a glued up construction like an acoustic guitar body, so the whole cabinet participates in the production of sound. But it goes farther than that. All right, I tested all different sorts of woods to get the kind of acoustic response that I want, and I ended up finding that a combination of this eastern white pine on the cabinet body and baffle gives me that deep resonance that I want. And I'll
Right this around. Let's do it.
This is African mahogany flange, tunes the resonance of the baffle so that you get punch and presence combined with the deep resonance of the eastern white pine. So it's tuned almost like an instrument upon it in itself. So
That's great. It's obvious that you've devoted a lot of attention to this, and the trial. I mean, what kind of process in selecting the woods was your trial and error?
That's exactly what it is, trial and error. There's no science. There's not a lot of science behind it. It's literally build dozens and dozens of test cabinets, see what sounds good, and then throw out the bad ones.
And how long did that process take?
Well, it took me a whole year. Yeah. In fact, I mean, that's really the product of 25 years of work, because I've been doing this stuff a long time, trying to get to that.
Well, shall we visit the Roseland again?
Absolutely.
All right.
Have Dana walk you through what makes this preamp different. You know, like, I just want to highlight the things that make this product unique. And one of them is this preamp that's very different from anything I've done before, or anything I've seen done before. It's not a traditional tone stack type preamp. Treble and bass each have their own individual stages, and it's designed to hit 3 distinct voicings: a blackface Fender kind of sound, like a tweed bassman kind of sound, and a plexi sound, all within the range of the treble and bass controls. Just single channel purist design, but that wide range of tones.
Well, I'd love to hear that.
Let's step through it.
And if you could just identify what tone you're going for with each setting, that'd be terrific.
Set up something more of a blackface Fender sound.
Okay.
All right, Dana.
I get to play something now?
Yeah, Dana, do it. Kick it out. Fender sound. Let's go somewhere else now.
Dial it up to like that.
Same thing over here.
Totally.
This is more of a tweed sound.
Okay. More of a tweed sound. Cool. And that's Dana Olson on the guitar, y'all. And where are we going now, Mark?
All right, now we'll go more for like a plexi kind of sound. I'll turn the master down so it's not, we don't get in trouble here. Now let me go one further.
Okay, one more.
This will give you a little more saturated sound.
Okay. Now you're going to display what the tremolo and the reverb does.
Yeah, let's do a little bit of that, okay?
Okay, cool. Where are we going first?
Well, let's dial in kind of a blackface Fender sound and just set a nominal setting on the reverb and hear what it sounds like.
Very sweet. We are in California after all. Now, nice tremolo. Very cool. Well, thank you for displaying that. That's really inventive. So why don't you tell us what these are priced at?
Yep, they start off $32.95, $42.95, $47.95.
Okay, and that's going from the Sugarland up to the Roseland in size. Great. And if people want to learn more about your amplifiers, where would they go online to find out?
www.bartelamps.com. Just went live about 3 days ago.
Okay, and thank you so much, Mark, for being here with us, and thank you, Dan Ellison, for playing. And thank you all for tuning in at premierguitar.com. Keep watching because we're going to be posting a lot more videos about new gear at NAMM 2018.